Welcome to Motherhood from the Brain, a podcast guiding moms of preteen girls on how to navigate emotional challenges that are not addressed in school. We share real stories, expert advice, and brain-based methods for handling tough moments. Discover insights to create a deeper connection with your preteen and improve your motherhood journey. Let's tackle the uncharted territory of parenting together. Hosted by professional certified coach, 𝐿𝐿𝐫𝐫𝐠𝐫𝐿.
Before we begin, I want to share a brief disclaimer. I am not a psychiatrist, psychologist, or any other licensed mental health professional. On this podcast, Motherhood and the Brain, I share what has personally helped me improve my mental and emotional well-being. My hope is that by sharing my experiences, I might help even one mother out there who is struggling. Hi, welcome to another episode of the Motherhood and the Brain podcast, episode number 37. My name is 𝐿𝐿𝐫𝐫𝐠𝐫𝐿. Have you ever felt like one seemingly small comment from your spouse or the father of your child sends you into a spiral of self-doubt, sadness, or even anger? In this episode, we are going to explore how one seemingly small, innocent thought can set off a powerful chain reaction in your mind, and how this chain reaction can keep you stuck in a cycle of self-doubt. Most importantly, we are going to talk about how to break free from this cycle and how to start to trust your ability as a mom. Let's begin. Your husband, this is just hypothetical, your husband says that the way you react to your preteen's behavior makes your preteen's behavior worse. Suddenly, you have this sentence in your brain that says that he thinks I am a bad mother. This single sentence, this single thought, carries a powerful emotional punch. And if you're already feeling sensitive about the way you are going about your motherhood role, it's all too easy to believe that sentence. You feel hurt, you start to withdraw, you criticize yourself, you turn to distractions, you might even try harder to prove to yourself that you are not a bad mother. You may want to control your child's actions in an attempt to come across as a good mother. You may want to control them to do what you want them to do as a way to try to prove to yourself that you are indeed a quote-unquote good mother. But instead of helping, these actions that you do leave you feeling even more disconnected. They reinforce the very belief that you are trying to avoid, that maybe I'm a bad mother. You see, society teaches us that motherhood is the most natural thing. People don't sit in classes and they say these things, but these are the messages we keep picking up from society. Motherhood is the most natural thing. Women have been mothers since day one. Even though many of us don't agree that motherhood is a natural thing, many of us don't agree it is natural, but that is the message that we pick from society. So many of us feel judged the moment we show any signs of struggling. We become sensitive to any form of anything that our brain perceives as criticism. We become very sensitive as regards to motherhood. Thought work teaches us that what we think about situations is what causes us pain. In this particular case here, it is not what the husband says or said. It is what you make, the meaning you attach to what your husband said. It is how you interpret what your husband says that causes pain. This is a fundamental, but it is, I can't even stress it enough. When you understand that it is how you interpret things that causes you emotional pain, you are off the races, good to go. And I use the word thought work because we call it thought work because we learn to become aware of what we are thinking. But even though it doesn't seem like it, trust me, I understand this. Thinking that you are a bad mother is optional. I know when you're new to this kind of work, it doesn't seem like it is optional to think that, to believe that. But trust me, it is optional. It can be approached and questioned from a place of curiosity. Let me repeat. When you have a sentence in your brain that you are a bad mother, it is not a fact. It is just a sentence. It is just something your brain is dishing out to you. You don't have to believe it. I know it is hard. It is maybe unfathomable to somebody who is not used to this kind of work, but it is not the truth. You don't have to take it as the truth. You can approach it from a place of curiosity. More to that later. As moms, we are wired to be hyper-aware of any perceived criticism or rejection because our evolutionary survival depended on being able to nurture and protect our young. In the past, being rejected or judged by others could have had serious consequences for a mother's ability to care for her children. This wiring continues to influence us today. When it comes to motherhood, the brain's protective mechanisms are deeply involved in how we respond to feedback, particularly negative feedback. Our protective brain, the one that is responsible for our survival and our continuing of the species, quickly reacts to anything that might trigger feelings of doubt or judgment, even when those feelings are not rooted in reality. When your spouse or father of your preteen gives his opinion about something he has maybe observed, your protective brain kicks in. It tries to prevent further harm by creating thoughts that reinforce the idea that something is wrong with you. I know this doesn't make sense, but that is how the brain works. So when you are already in doubt, when you already doubt your mothering abilities, these thoughts feel especially powerful. If you've been holding on to beliefs like I'm a bad mother, your brain is more likely to magnify the critical thought, he thinks I am a bad mother. This isn't just about current situation. This is tapping into something deeper that you've carried with you, possibly from the messages you picked up from society as you were growing up, how motherhood should be, how mothers should behave, what mothers should or should not do. And over time, these beliefs that you have slowly picked up from society become a filter through which you interpret your own experiences. Beliefs are very powerful because they shape the way we see the world. Our beliefs about motherhood are often shaped by cultural expectations and personal experiences. Historically, even today, not even historically, but even today, motherhood is or has been surrounded by rigid ideals of what a mother should look like, a good mother should look like, what a good mother should do, what a bad mother is, how mothers should behave, how they should care for their children, all these things. So these beliefs have evolved over generations and they are influenced by societal standards. And they are very unrealistic. Many of those beliefs are very unrealistic. So when your brain hears a thought, I'm a bad mother, it doesn't evaluate it logically. It compares it to the beliefs you have been carrying about what it means to be a good or bad mother. So if you already have doubts about what you're doing, how you are showing up as a mother, your brain latches onto these self-critical thoughts because they feel familiar. It's like confirming worst fears. Many years ago, millennia ago, this was meant to protect us from real threats. But now, it's likely to keep you stuck in a cycle of self-judgment and self-loathing. Your husband says that the way you react to your child's behavior makes their behavior worse. And you think that he thinks you're a bad mother. Since this sentence or this thought aligns with your deeper belief about yourself, about how you're going about your motherhood journeys, you focus, like I said, your brain latches onto it, and it is a way. I know it doesn't make sense, but this is a way of your brain trying to protect you from further judgment. It's like, yeah, we already believe that about ourselves. There's nothing new there. Instead of being curious and trying to find out where this is coming from, what this is about, your brain will latch onto that and say, yeah, this is familiar, this is okay. There's nothing new here. We already believe that. I know it doesn't make sense, but that is how the brain works. So since your brain is reinforcing a belief you already internalized, it feels more true each time. The more you focus on the idea of being a bad mother, the more evidence your brain collects to support what you believe, aka you are a bad mother. And the stronger the belief becomes, it becomes a form of a self-fulfilling cycle. Let me repeat, this is very important. Since you have this belief already that maybe you're a bad mother because of what you see, you look at yourself from the filter that your brain has created about what the brain has picked up about what motherhood should be. And if you're not doing those things that your brain has picked up from environment and society, you have internalized this belief that you are a bad mother. So the more you focus on this idea of being a bad mother, the more evidence your brain will collect. And in this case, the evidence is your husband's opinion. Your husband said something and you have interpreted it this way because you already feel that, you already think that about yourself. The way our brain is made is when you believe something about you, the brain will go out there and collect evidence for you, not only about you, but whatever you believe, your brain will go to work and bring evidence to support what you believe. So this is what is happening here. So while the brain's protective instinct is deeply rooted in evolution, beliefs about motherhood, beliefs about how mothers should be, how you see yourself today, how you see yourself as a mother, all those beliefs can be questioned. They can be approached with curiosity. They can be changed. These are the things that they do not teach us in school. These beliefs can be approached from a place of being curious and not being judgmental. We acknowledge, and how do we do that? You acknowledge what your brain is doing. Your brain offers you a thought, he thinks I am a bad mother. You understand that that is a natural response. That is something the brain is wired to do. That is something the brain has been doing for all, since the human species got here. But it is not necessarily true. It is not the truth. It is not a fact. It is just something your brain is throwing out at you because the brain is going on some form of loop. So you start questioning, where does this belief come from? Was it passed down through cultural expectations? Is it rooted in past experiences? Because understanding the origin of your beliefs can help you separate them from yourself. It doesn't mean that what your mother did or what your grandmother did, what your great-great-grandmother did is what you have to do. But in order for us to arrive at that place where we can separate ourselves from the beliefs our ancestors had and what they did, is to become curious. We can't do this work from a place of judgment. We have to be curious. Curious opens us up. Judgment closes us. When we judge ourselves, we are very close. We're not open to receiving, but curiosity opens us up to what we don't know. And here is the thing. The reason why it is important to do this work from a place of curiosity. Today, let me say your husband said the way you react towards your preteens' behavior makes their behavior worse. And you think you're a bad mother. So when you do not sit down to do this work, to explore, to try to find out where this is coming from, next week, somebody else will say something that will trigger the same thought. Today your husband said the way you react to your child makes the behavior worse, and you think you're a bad mother. So because you are carrying this belief about yourself, because you think you're a bad mother, next week something else will happen. Maybe you will forget to pick your child up at school in good time. Maybe you will forget to buy something that the child asked you to buy. Maybe you will forget to help them with their project. Maybe there are many things that will happen that will bring forth that same thought. That is why in this work, when we are doing thought work, we go to the root. When the brain offers us a thought, we take it in our hand and we look at it with curiosity. What is this? What is this about? Where is it coming from? Because when we do not address the thought, we will continue being things will continue happening in our lives, and we will think we have no control. We will think we are, being victimized. We will continue thinking that is how motherhood is. But when you understand how your brain works and why certain things happen, then you will respond better. Because to another person, let me try to demonstrate this. To another person, their husband can say the way you react to your child's behavior makes their behavior worse. Another person might not think he thinks I'm a bad mother. Another person may become curious, will think, I wonder why he said that. Okay. It is the same thing, but different responses. I wonder why he said that. What does he mean by that? Instead of thinking, I'm a bad mother, he thinks I'm a bad mother. So we go to the root, which is our thinking. Because things will keep happening in life. And if we have these unaddressed thoughts, they will continue controlling our lives, steering our lives. So this is why you need to think about how you yourself define motherhood. What is motherhood for you? How do you want your motherhood role to be? You define this for yourself, such that the next time your husband makes an opinion like that, comes up with an opinion like that, when you have your own definition of motherhood, your own definition of how you do things, your own definition of how things should be, you will not be triggered. You will understand that he's just a man voicing his opinion, or if something else comes up, if you forget your child to pick them at school at the time you had agreed, instead of thinking you're a bad mother, because you understand, you have your own definition of how you want to do things, you will understand that, I made a mistake. I made a mistake. Humans make mistakes. And you apologize to your child and you move on. You will not beat yourself up. So, what does being a good mother really mean to you? How can you start to see yourself as a good mother, even with the flaws and the mistakes? Because you are human, you are going to mess up. So how are you going to be kind to yourself? How are you going to treat yourself when you mess up? The next time you yell at your child when they are yelling, how are you going to treat yourself in the aftermath of all that? The next time your husband says something like the way you react to her behavior makes the situation worse, how are you going to treat yourself? You have to define all this for yourself. Maybe it is true that your reaction makes your child's reaction worse. Maybe it is true. Let us even go there. So what are you going to do about that? Maybe it is true. Maybe when you yell, because we know when somebody yells at you, unless you have done this work or you are a very calm person, many people will yell back. So maybe it is true. So what are you going to do about that? Are you going to go beating yourself up the whole day? Because we have established the more you do that, the more you think you're a bad mother. So what are you going to do? So you sit and define all this for yourself. You are a mom. You are going to forget things. Sometimes you are going to yell at your child. Sometimes you're going to be impatient. Other times you're going to be patient. Sometimes you're going to be impatient. Sometimes you are going to forget to pick them up. Sometimes they are going to come to go to school late because you awoke them late. You slept late. You didn't wake up to when your alarm went off. So you woke up a few minutes to spare and everybody's rushing. So what are you going to do when all those things happen? Because they will happen. This is what I mean by you define for yourself what you are going to do when you have human moments. Instead of looking for evidence that confirms your doubts, actively seek evidence of your strength and successes as a mom. This is so funny with human beings. I like to go to the gym, but in the summer months, I don't go to the gym because my local gym, it gets hot. Sun shines through the glass and they say they have tried, but the air condition doesn't work properly. Okay, it does work, but maybe in my opinion, it is not enough. So the gym is very hot in the summer months. So in the summer months, I don't go to the gym. So what I do in the summer months, I walk. I set a small goal. I walk maybe 5 out of 7 days, and I want to walk around 10 kilometers every day when I walk. And here's the thing. I try to walk 5 out of 7 days, sometimes 7 out of 7. But the week where I will walk maybe 4 out of 7, I beat myself up. I don't automatically think that, okay, I walked 4 out of 7 days, it's good. No, I automatically go to the days I did not walk. So this is how our brains are. We are wired to go to the negative. So instead of looking for evidence for where you are a bad mother, aka this time you found the evidence in what your husband said. You are now using your husband's statement to reinforce your belief. Oh, my husband thinks I'm a bad mother. It is because you think that already. So instead of going to your husband's, instead of looking for evidence to support your doubt using your husband's narrative or comment, how about you go to a place where you seek all the times you have done good, all the times you have been successful as a mom? How about we go there? This is something that does not come naturally for many of us. We have to keep practicing. One of my teachers, Corinne Crabtree, says that spend equal amounts of airtime in the positive as well, because we spend so much time in the negative. We can spend equal amounts of airtime on the positive as well. So this is what I'm saying. When were all the times you showed up? When were all the times you did good as a mother? How about you go to those instead of going looking for the negative? And I know this is not your fault. This is just the way our brain is made. But we have to practice to bring the positive on board, to look at the positive. We have to intentionally set out to do this. It does not happen naturally to many of us. So write them down and revisit them anytime you feel self-doubt, anytime you feel self-loathing as a mother. You go back to that place where you wrote all the times you did good, all the times you did better, all the times you were successful as a mother, instead of thinking you are a bad mom. So over time, questioning and replacing this deep-rooted belief helps you create neural pathways in your brain, ones that support a more balanced and compassionate view of yourself as a mom. It's like my coach, when I'm coaching with my coach, she always uses this analogy of train tracks. Your brain is used to going on train track A. And now that you are starting to do this work, you are teaching your brain to use train track B. Of course, it is not going to be easy. You have to continue guiding it and until it learns train track B. It's like if you are right-handed and you want to learn to use your left hand or vice versa, it's not going to be easy. You're not going to master it in the first time you do it. You have to keep practicing, to learn to write with your left hand. So it is the same thing. We train our brain to go from those deep-seated beliefs about motherhood to the ones that you create yourself. It takes time and effort, but it is totally doable. The good news is, even though your brain's protective instincts are deeply ingrained, you have the power to change the beliefs you have been carrying about motherhood. You have the power to define for yourself what you want motherhood to be. As you question old beliefs and replace them with more compassionate, realistic views, you stop feeding the cycle of self-criticism. Instead, you begin to create a new narrative that allows you to see yourself as the loving, capable mother you truly are, who sometimes makes mistakes, who sometimes yells at their child, who sometimes forgets to pick their child up on time, who sometimes sleeps through their alarm, who sometimes makes burnt dinner, who sometimes doesn't want to do the dishes or clean the house. So by recognizing the role of human evolution in shaping the way you think and what you believe, you begin to untangle the layers of self-doubt and embrace a more empowered, grounded version of motherhood, where you trust in your abilities and approach challenges with compassion and not judgment. Before I go, I want to say one thing. The way that you treat yourself is the way that you treat those people around you. If you are very harsh to yourself, you automatically do that to other people. I have seen this with my own eyes, and the mothers I work with have said the same thing. If you are kind to yourself, you automatically be kind to other people. When you make a mistake and you understand that it is a mistake, you are human, you make mistakes, you will do the same to people in your life when they make a mistake. Treat yourself with kindness, treat yourself with compassion, and you will do the same to your children and other people around you. One thing I forgot to say, when we are writing things down, we call it a thought dump. Some people call it, when I was taught this work, they taught us, they use the term thought download, but it's the same, thought download, thought dump. When your husband says things like, the way you react makes the child's behavior worse, you write that down. And all the other things that are coming. Putting things on paper creates distance between you and the thing, giving you more power to how you respond. Because when you look at, there's something with looking at something on paper, removing it from your head and looking at it on paper. There's something transformational that happens when you put things down and you look at them with curiosity. Thank you so much for listening today. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Talk to you again next week. Bye for now.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Your time means the world to us. If you found this episode valuable, we would be immensely grateful if you could spare a moment to visit Apple Podcasts and share your thoughts through a review. Your feedback plays a vital role in helping fellow moms discover our podcast and enrich their own motherhood experiences. Take care, and bye for now.